she was sent to kill the human, but he saved her first. I was sent to kill him. That was the only truth that mattered when I slipped through the atmosphere of Earth, wrapped in the shimmering cloak of invisibility. My orders etched into the neural codes of my mind. Kill Commander Eli Vance. End the one they call the Savior of Epsilon Base. That name alone carried the weight of thousands of my people's deaths. To my superiors, he was the symbol of human resistance, the man who held the line when our fleet invaded their colonies. To me, he was just a target. One heartbeat among billions, at least. That's what I thought before I saw what he was doing when I found him. It was supposed to be a clean kill. Slip through the human defense perimeter, plant the plasma charge beneath his quarters, vanish before the dawn patrol. But the universe has a cruel way of testing conviction. I found him not in his room, but out in the wastelands beyond the base, trudging through smoke and ruin, his armor scorched, carrying something small and limp in his arms. 2 alien children, my people's children. Their skin was the pale blue of my kind, marred with ash and blood. He carried them like they were made of glass, whispering something I couldn't hear. I crouched behind a shattered crawler, rifle steady, my targeting reticle centered on his heart. One pulse of my finger, and the war would tilt in our favor. But my finger wouldn't move. He knelt beside the children, tearing open a ration pack, pouring water between their cracked lips. His voice was hoarse, gentle, trembling. Stay with me. Come on. You're safe now. Safe. A human word I'd never thought could belong to us. I don't remember lowering my rifle. I just remember the sound of the wind across the ruins, and the way my chest tightened, as if the air itself rebelled against my orders. By the time I followed him back to the base, the children were alive, wrapped in thermal blankets, surrounded by medics. No one questioned why the commander had risked his life for the offspring of his enemy. Maybe they were used to his defiance. Maybe they believed mercy was a weapon too. That night, I watched from the ventilation ducts above his quarters. He sat alone, bloodied uniform still on, staring at the flickering hologram on his desk. A woman's face, human, smiling. He reached out to touch the light, but it dissolved through his fingers. His voice cracked. I couldn't save you, but maybe I can save them. I'd been trained to recognize weakness, but what I saw wasn't weakness. It was grief, the kind that rewrites a person from the inside out. And in that moment, the idea of killing him began to feel wrong. For 3 nights, I stayed hidden, studying him, searching for something, a reason to complete my mission. Instead, I found reasons not to. He visited the med bay every day, checked on the alien children, made sure they ate. He even convinced his soldiers, the same ones who'd slaughtered hundreds of us, to donate food rations for them. He never looked away from their eyes, even when they reminded him of who his enemy was. On the 4th night, my communicator crackled in my ear, a voice from home. My handler, cold, commanding. Agent Kylera, report. I hesitated. The target is alive. Alive. The voice sharpened. You had a week. Why is he breathing? I stared down through the grate, watching him sleep, curled beside a datapad full of half-finished reports and a bottle of something human and strong. I whispered, because he doesn't deserve to die. Silence, then static, then the final command. If you won't complete the mission, you'll be considered compromised. Extraction canceled. And just like that, my people abandoned me. The next morning, alarms screamed across the base. An enemy strike, my people's strike. They had found me, and they were coming to erase the mistake I'd become. Explosions rippled across the compound. Humans scrambled, shouting, firing into the sky. And in the chaos, I did the one thing I never thought I'd do. I ran toward the human commander. I found him in the command tower, trying to coordinate an evacuation. When he turned, our eyes met for the first time. Human brown against alien violet. He froze. His hand hovered near his sidearm. I dropped my cloak, raised my hands. If you shoot me, you'll die too. His eyes narrowed. You're one of them, yes, and right now, your walls are going to fall. I can help you stop it. He didn't believe me. I saw it in the flicker of his gaze. But then a blast tore through the eastern hangar, the shockwave knocking us both to the floor. He cursed under his breath. You'd better not be lying. I never said I wasn't. He laughed, short, sharp, half mad, and tossed me a rifle. Fine, then fight with me. For the next 2 hours. We fought side by side. Humans, alien, enemies by birthright, allies by necessity. His movements were efficient, brutal, a soldier born from desperation. But he wasn't like the others. He shielded civilians, pulled wounded men from debris, and when a plasma blast nearly tore through me, he didn't hesitate. He threw himself into the path, armor taking the hit. The sound of his pain burned through me more than the screams outside. I dragged him behind cover, pressing my hand against the wound. You stupid, selfless fool, I muttered. He managed a smile, blood on his lips. Guess that makes 2 of us. When the fighting died down, the base was in ruins. The attack had failed, but the cost was unbearable. He sat among the wreckage, armor cracked, breathing shallow. I should have left then. I should have vanished into the night and let the stars swallow me. But I didn't. I knelt beside him, tracing the edge of his wound with trembling fingers. My people had taught me healing in the field, a temporary fusion of cells through energy transfer. Dangerous. Forbidden when used on another species. I didn't care. The air shimmered around us as I pressed my palms against his chest, channeling light into his broken body. He gasped, eyes wide, light dancing across his skin. What are you doing? He rasped. Saving you. Why? The question lodged in my throat. The truth burned behind my teeth. Because I was sent to kill you. He stared at me like I'd stripped the sky away. And you didn't. No, I whispered. Because you saved them. Because you saved me. We hid in the ruins for days after that. The war outside raged on, but here, in this quiet pocket of destruction, time felt still. He healed slowly. I watched the sun rise and set through the cracks in the ceiling, the light washing over his face. It was strange, seeing warmth on someone I'd once sworn to destroy. He told me about his world, the oceans that glowed under twin moons, the forests that sang in the wind. I told him about mine, the crystal plains of Nevada, where sound became color, where children learned to weave light into shapes of memory. For a moment, we forgot the war, and when he smiled at me not as a soldier, but as a man, something in me shifted. It wasn't weakness. It was understanding. The terrifying, beautiful realization that empathy was stronger than vengeance. One night, he asked, "Will your people come for you?" "They already did," I said softly. "They think I'm dead." He looked away. "Maybe that's for the best. Maybe." I hesitated, then added, "What about yours?" He gave a tired laugh. "They'll court-martial me if they find out I fought beside an alien assassin." I smiled faintly. "Then we're both ghosts." "Guess so," he said. And then, so quietly, I almost missed it. Not the worst company to be stuck with. The following dawn, we heard engines in the distance, human rescue craft, sweeping the ruins. He turned to me, conflict written across his face. "You have to go. If they see you, I know." He took a step closer, his voice low. "What will you do?" "Disappear. Maybe find the children you saved. They'll need someone." He nodded. "You could stay." I could tell them no. I smiled, though my chest ached. "You're too good at lying to yourself already." He almost laughed, but his eyes were glassy. "Will I ever see you again?" "Maybe," I said, "if your kind ever learns to look at the stars without seeing enemies." He reached out, and for the first time, his hand brushed mine. The warmth of his skin burned through the barrier of what we were supposed to be. Kylara, he said, my name, shaped clumsily by human lips. You don't have to run, I already am. I vanished into the mist as the rescue craft landed. From a ridge above, I watched them lift him away, battered, alive, clutching a data ship I'd slipped into his pocket before leaving. It contained everything he'd need to prove that the war wasn't what it seemed, that my people weren't monsters. The next day, human broadcasts called him a traitor for refusing to authorize another strike. My people called me a coward for sparing him, but I didn't care, because somewhere in the chaos of two worlds tearing each other apart, one impossible truth had taken root. Compassion had survived. Months passed. I found the children again, alive, safe in a neutral zone. They remembered him, the human who had saved them when no one else would. And every night, when the stars rose above the shattered horizon, I'd look for the faint blue shimmer of Earth's orbit, and wonder if he was looking back. Sometimes I thought I could hear his voice on the wind, quiet, steady, saying the same word he'd whispered as I left. Safe. The war would go on. Empires would rise and fall. But somewhere beneath all that noise, a seed of something new had been planted, fragile, reckless, and beautiful. I was sent to kill him, but he saved me first, and maybe, just maybe, that was enough to save the world.